Hi there, Beavers, and welcome to this special edition of the Beaver Show. We got with us Rixx Jarvis. This guy. There.
Yay.
Yay.
It is me.
So, first of all, Dem and I are both wormholers from the Alliance, sorry in advance. And we got here with Rixx. Well, actually, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, I run a very small pirate group in LoSec called Stay Frosty, who's been around for a little over 10 years now. And we're part of the Band Apart Alliance, which is also coming up on its decade-long anniversary here in a few months. And yeah, we are and do pirate things in LoSec and in wormholes and nullsec and everywhere we can, but we're primarily based in LoSec and flying in alliance tournaments. Our team is practicing right now, as a matter of fact, and getting ready for the feeders, which are coming up in either next weekend or the weekend after. I forget exactly. So
That is
excuse
great.
me.
So, pirate, you are like I think you're more into like the Galante faction, hunting them, like when you're more like
Yeah,
an idol.
yeah, we mostly operate. We base out of Valletta, which is in the Cal Mill war zone. But for example, today, after I hang up with you guys, we're going on a roam down to Mimitar and Amar faction warfare space. So do that too. So just to mix things up a little bit, right?
Okay,
Like
great.
that.
So
Creating chaos.
And my nose is itchy.
yeah, yeah, like them, yes, bring chaos. Well, the wormhole, we like that.
Right.
There's been like a lot of talks on Twitter, like in the last 24 hours. What is happening?
Yeah. So, well, I made the decision this week to take down the Rixx store, which went up a year ago. And so that was a little bit of a long time coming. And like I explained to CCP, I may bring it back in a couple of months. But the problem was I didn't know what exactly I was getting into, and never having run an e-commerce store myself. And I did a few things at the beginning based on a few factors that I wanted to make sure, and CCP also wanted to make sure that we adhered to, which was quality and availability for people all over the world. Because and then one of the factors that really impacts that is shipping. And as you know, international shipping is quite complicated, and
And
then
expensive.
yeah, and then so you're kind of limited because typically on a store like that with art prints, I would print like 50 of the posters you see behind me, and I would have them somewhere stored, and then when I get an order in, I would ship those out. And then, but you don't know what kind of quantities you're dealing with, so the danger is that you have too much on physical copies. So
The
decided to go.
stockpile.
Yeah, you have a warehouse full of stuff you can't sell, and that's not good.
Yeah.
But of course, the world we live in now, you can do on-demand printing.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a good partner for that.
Yeah,
So.
but before going like further into that,
Sure.
could you tell us like where and how the actual adventure started?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, we can go all the way back to 2014 if you want, and work our way up from there. But
Well, what happened in 14? Why was this date is so important?
well, actually, if you really want a deep dive, it goes all the way back to 2009. Back in 2009, I was running a advertising creative agency in Pittsburgh, and we got contacted. I was an EVE player since 2008, and so I was talking to then CCP Manifest, and they still had the office in Atlanta, if you remember back in those days, and they were looking for a group to help them with their social media. And so we put a proposal together, and we pitched CCP on handling their entire social media. And then through things that they decided to do it internally, of course. So, which is good. We've got a very robust community team now, and the Atlanta office is closed. But those discussions in 2014 turned into, hey, Rixx, the Eve store's kind of closed, and we would like to relaunch it. So could you work with us to come up with a way to relaunch the Eve store? And so we started discussions, and I started designing like T-shirts and mouse pads and things like that. And it sort of transformed over 6 months, almost a year, into a series of posters that CCP licensed with QMX out of California. And that was a set of 4 frigate posters that were followed by a set of 4 battlecruiser posters that were sold through QMX. And one of the downsides of that, and this is where some of this learning and experience comes from, was that if you were living in the United States and you ordered those posters, it was great because they were like $24 for the whole set, and then shipping was very reasonable. But if you lived in Australia and ordered those posters, they were like $150. So international orders were kind of a tricky thing. They weren't, we weren't getting very many international orders. And when we sold them at Fanfest that year, Fanfest 2015, I had a table and we sold 1,200 posters at Fanfest, and
1,200 posters.
Yeah, it was the number one selling item in the Eve store at Fanfest in 2015. And I had a table set up, and people would come up, and I would sign the posters for them, and that was pretty exciting. So there was a demand for it, but it was just trying to get over that international shipping problem.
Actually, did you base a lot of your market research on that event, or did this event add an actual impact on the decision that has been made afterward for the other project?
Well, it did, and I also gave a player presentation, which is available on YouTube, about Eve fan art, and the whole point of the presentation, and we did a roundtable afterwards with myself and Andrew Groen, who at that point was just getting the idea of doing the Eve Universe history books Kickstarter together, and then CCP Spitfire, Alexi, and we talked about, and I talked about in my talk, and they talked about it afterwards in the roundtable, was the idea of how can we get a system set up with CCP that would allow artists like myself the ability to license Eve IP and create, posters and 3D models and other things that the community really wanted. And then, so that process, that was 2015. That process, I never gave up on. I kept doing it. But, if you ever try to work with CCP for a long time, they have, people leave. The art director in 2015 is gone. The CCP Spitfire is gone. CCP Manifest is gone. And then you go through generations of CCPers who you're dealing with, and they don't have the institutional memory of what they were talking about with the other people. So you have to start all over again with everybody. And that process, sets things back and makes them very slow. But even a few years ago, I was able to help Lloyd George and Lucas Amarillo, who were able to license their artwork and sell it. And their stores have been up and running for a while now. And so that was very successful. And at the time when they were doing that, I was employed full time, and I was working as a CMO for a company out of California, and I was very, very busy. And then last year, right before FanFest, I said, I said, these guys have licenses. I should probably talk to somebody about getting a license and setting up a store. So when we were at FanFest, I asked to talk to Anna Catron, and so we sat in a conference room and we talked it out, and we agreed to do it. And that's what started the whole process of the store that recently closed and had got up and running. So that's the very, very long abbreviated version of
Okay.
10 years of hard work. Yeah.
But like the store closed, okay? But does that mean that you are winning Eve?
Oh gosh, no. And the funny thing you say that is that I had to say on Twitter is like, I think some people mistook what I was saying, because I think some people thought, "Hey, Rixx, it's been nice knowing you," and I know I'm not going anywhere. So,
Can I have your stuff?
I know, like, I wrote, like, take care, but I thought, like, you had, like, sort of disease or something in real life that you getting close the store.
no, it couldn't be further from the truth. Actually, and again, this will get into an NDA, which I can't discuss publicly. But I've since March of this year, I've been involved in a rather large, exciting project that I've been working on very, very hard, every week since March, and I'm very excited about it. And it will be public here.
Are you allowed to say if it's related to CCP?
It is a Eve IP project. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's not CCP doing it, but it's a third party thing. I can't. I probably said too much already.
Yeah. You said like it's going out like July. Is that it?
No.
You cannot say.
I can't say. But let's just say in a few months it'll be public. Yeah.
In a few months.
Then we can talk about it. But I'm very excited about it. I'm proud to be a part of it. It's very exciting, and I think everyone's going to be. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, if it's what we saw on some other side that we talked on the Beaver show.
Okay.
Yeah, I might get one.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Because we're one of the luckies that got one of your piece of art in our living room. So now that it's very cool. That's even more unique.
Yeah, if there are any rumors out there, I haven't seen them, and if there are any, I can neither confirm nor deny them, of course, and that would be against my NDA. But I'm very excited about it. I've been working on it very, very hard, and the team that's working on it is very talented, and I think it's going to be great.
So that's all great news all around. So, I'm actually quite happy to hear that.
Yeah, and I've also been working with a group who's doing a startup company, a very, very early stage gaming company with about 14 or 15 employees. And so I just signed up with them to be the art and marketing lead for that. We're going to be developing a couple of smaller games, and then also potentially another MMO. So I'm pretty excited about that too. But that is very, very early stage right now.
Is it still sci-fi?
Well, two of the games are sci-fi. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Great.
So,
we've known you more on the before the show for the event that you're doing, the Frigate Free for All. So I'm guessing that with what happened on Twitter and everything that you're telling us now, we'll see a Frigate Free for All next year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, as long as I play Eve, we'll have one of those at least once a year. Yeah.
Great.
It's such a great event, and everybody loves it, and we love putting it on. We love doing it. It's a great day. It's insane. It's been crazy. It's there's nothing else quite like it, and because it's been going on for so long, everyone supports it, and everyone except for certain people. But yeah, we're gonna have. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do exactly this year. We might do something a little different. We've talked to some of our friends out in Nullsec about maybe hosting it in Nullsec this year instead of.
I've heard about the Titan Free for All.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I heard about that. Right. We've also had a little bit of talk with CCP about the potential of having an event filament. So, before, a week before the event, how they give out daily filaments and boosters and things, maybe giving out an event filament the week before, so that no matter where you are in New Eden, if you use this filament, you'll get filamented into the event, to the FFA. And so that way we could have it literally anywhere in New Eden, and nobody would need to know where we were having it. So they couldn't prepare ahead of time, like to hurt us or gate camp it or anything. So then you just appear in system and, dock up, get a ship, and then play and have fun.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, well,
I think that's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, because filaments can also like limit the kind of ship that can be using them.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can like limit it for frigates.
Right. Yep. And we could also, we could limit it and then not limit it to the number of people. So you can have, get all your friends together and everybody filaments in together, and there's 200 or 300 people filming in together, which is fine as long as they're in frigates or cruisers or, whatever. And then, and just stay in the system and play frigate free-for-all all day. And, dock up, get a new ship, and undock and keep doing it until you're tired or you have to go. I think it's a great idea. But I think something like that will probably work out pretty well. I think CCP really wants to, keep supporting the event, and because it's so unusual. And then, so we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, and actually, like I got a lot of people that were telling me that they almost got their security status up and up now that they can go back in the high sec.
Me.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. So yeah, we wouldn't have that problem in nullsec either then. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my nose is very itchy today.
Oh, it does. Okay, if we come back actually to what happened yesterday on Twitter and like the whole venture itself, what would be the advice for someone who would like to do something similar as you did?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it's taken 15 years of not giving up and blazing a trail and being willing to be the first person to try something. I was willing to go so far as to have CCP really at the time. And again, none of these people are still there. So I just want to, my relationship with CCP currently is fantastic and very professional. And I love everyone that works there. They're really a great group. It's probably the best group of CCPers that we've ever had, honestly. And they're very, very attuned. We have a lot of former players there. We have it's just a really great group of people. But in the past, and no need to go into details, but I've been willing to have several people there be very, very angry with me because, well, for example, the posters that was sold through QMX, we had some contract problems, and then one of the people who actually worked on it had left. And then the new people didn't know what we had discussed or what was involved. And then there was some miscommunication back and forth there. And that just, caused some problems, which we resolved all of them. And we ended up being friends. But there was some publicly things said from some of them that wasn't very nice on Twitter in the past. So
some PR that needed to happen.
Right, but again, my goal was always just to keep blazing forward and I knew that being the first person doing this was going to cause some friction eventually, but it all worked out, and now we have these systems in place and we have an understanding for people, so no one else has to go through all that, blazing a trail stuff. So CCP is open to it, and if you have a thing that you want to do and you're very good at and you have a proven track record, I mean, that's part of the issue too, is this all has to be, really professionally done. We're representing the IP and you're representing, CCP as the gaming company. And so it's not just, hey, I want to do some oil paintings and sell them, nobody can stop you from doing that. You are always able to, anybody can just draw a picture and then sell it to a buddy. But it's doing it online. And if you've been online, you know that this is a huge problem. There's tons of pirated merchandise all over the internet. And, that's unfortunate. They can't police the world. So there's a lot of stuff, coming from China and other places where, just slapping Eve logos on T-shirts is not great. And it's just taking money out of everyone's mouth. Yeah. So this is bad. but the more that they do it professionally and legally, the less important those pirates become.
Nice. So, like this whole journey that you've been going through the last 15 years, did you enjoy it?
Absolutely, yeah. Every single minute of it, yeah. I love it. I've enjoyed it. I've been doing well when I had never played an MMO before. So, and like I said, at the time I was running an ad agency, so I had 40 employees, and we had clients all over the world, and my son is who got me into it, and he was the first couple of years I just basically followed him around space. So he would decide, well, we're going to Providence and we're going to fight in this war, and I'd be like, okay, and then we just do that. And so it wasn't until really 2.5 years into the game where I really started to. It was around 2010 when I started the blog, when I started writing Eva Ganda, and I had a little bit more free time and started to really think about what I wanted to do for myself in the game and not just follow him around everywhere. And so that's when I discovered Losec and became a pirate, and started fooling around with the metagame and realizing that there were a lot of really bad actors in this community, and that it's probably best if we got rid of some of them and started really thinking about how to get rid of some people and cause them trouble, and clean things up a little bit, and in my own opinion, and just be a pain in the ass. And but knowing that from the beginning, the moment I saw a spaceship spinning on my son's computer, I went right downstairs and downloaded this game. And I knew two things about it. I knew it was a space MMO, and that I knew what those were. I just never played one before. And then I knew it came from a company in Iceland, which is where the name Rixxs comes from. The capital of Iceland is Reykjavik. So Rixxs, Reykjavik, it's kind of the same thing.
Is it because you were not able to pronounce it?
No, I knew how to say it. It's just I didn't want my character's name to be Reykjavik. It's like so I just Americanized it, and
more X.
Yeah, lots of more X's in it. Yes.
So all those characters, I don't know how. So I'll just
exactly. Yeah. So and then and like I said before, with CCP reaching out to us and working with them professionally too, that was always sort of. Over the years, I used to do the team logos for the teams at CCP. I did a big image for their office opening in London of the Ragnarok over landing on London, that they used as a huge mural in the office lobby when they opened the office in London. I did a soccer design for the CCP team in. I don't know, 2016 when they played football against the players. So their team name was the Balgorns. So instead of Balgorns instead of Balgorns. So I've been doing projects with them over the years, and then I recently did the community beat that comes out.
Yep.
That graphic for that's mine. I created that for them. So. They know they can rely on it. They can call me up and rely on me to help out when they need it. And I've never minded doing that because it's a lot of fun. So I just have a blast. I've been, doing the art on the side as a hobby just to increase my own skills and keep my skills alive and try new things. And, people seem to really, really like it. And the response has been great. And we sold a lot of posters at the store to people all over the world. So, I've got them up on my wall behind me, and there are players all over the world with my art on the wall. How cool is that?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a pretty cool thing, and it makes me happy just to think about it. When I see streamers or other people, and I see their gaming setups, and I see my art on their walls behind them. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it's a bit hard to move that thing.
Yeah, you just get your head out of the way.
Yeah, but yeah, that's great. You spoke about the community beat, and in the last one, like there was like a bit of a weird kind of art of coloring into it. Did you
Hmm.
actually saw
Yep.
that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Did we
And
get your draw?
I don't think I should enter the art contest. That would be
well,
Oh.
try with crayons and see how you'll do.
okay. All right, maybe I will then.
Well, it's a
Well,
draw, so we'll publish some on like let's say Instagram,
okay.
Twitters, and those
All
places.
right, I'll do one then. I will.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I always debate every time there's an art contest, to design a mouse pad or a T-shirt or something. I always think, well, should I enter this or not, and let somebody else? I've entered a bunch of them over the years and won things,
We
but
weren't gonna choose like the best one. We're just gonna choose one.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that's great. Yeah,
Like so that wouldn't like yeah, so that way like we could have like children hard picked up and that kind of
Yeah.
things because we do suggest people to print it, color it, then send us the picture.
that's awesome.
So that way like people like truly we got some of our alliance mate that are doing that like this weekend with their children. So yeah.
Yeah, years ago, and I don't remember when, but I created I think 6 or 8 pages of a coloring book.
Oh
It's still
really?
on my it's still on my Flickr. You can go on my Flickr account, and there's an album called Coloring Book, and there's one of drones pulling a Tristan for Christmas. So it's like a sleigh with the drones, there's a Rifter and an Astero, and there's one of the Space Pope, and I don't know. Oh, there's a maze. I created a maze, so it's like a maze inside of a Titan, inside of an Erebus, and there's
Wow.
a connect the dots for a Gnosis. So it's a connect the Gnosis or something like that, and those were there was a friend of mine who would go into hospitals, so he would print. He asked me to create some coloring pages for him for Eve, and he would print those out and then take them into hospitals for kids who were in the hospital, so they had something to color. So I always thought that was kind of cool.
That's so great. I'm
Yeah.
gonna actually look at it, and you'll be able to see like through the links in the description below.
Okay.
For those that listen like to us on YouTube, same thing for the e-fan art that you told it was also on YouTube. We'll be
Right.
linking all of that into the description below.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Well, during all
Maybe
this,
we're gonna use one of them like one day. Yes, maybe.
Yeah. Feel free. Yeah, they're full pages. You can just print them out on your black and white printer and have at it.
well, yeah. Well, I like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be better. That's what we done for this
Yes, I
contest.
hope, because I do not have
Yeah.
an art background, so you got what
Not
you
at all.
got. Yeah. So, with all this journey in the like the past 15 years, what have you learned? Like, what are the big lessons that you can actually draw from that?
Well, first of all, Eve players are a weird bunch, and every single one of them has a special spaceship that they love more than any other. And it might surprise you how weird those are sometimes. And I get a lot of people saying, "Well, why don't you just do a poster for every spaceship?" And then I have to remind them that there's like 478 spaceships in Eve, and that would take me probably the next 20 years to do. And then I would sell one of the Probe Navy issue posters because that's probably the only person in Eve who loves that ship. And everybody has a favorite ship, and that's very, very challenging because it can often be, I hate the Drake or I hate the Hurricane, but I love the Bellicose. It's like, well, you're the only person who loves the Bellicose in all of Eve. So do I do a piece of art for the Bellicose and forget the others? But so that's one lesson that I've learned, is that you can never predict what anyone's going to like or want, because everybody has their own opinion and their own passion about something, and it can be really strange sometimes when you run into it and learn that there's actually people out there who just love the Amicus, and the rest of us think it's probably one of the ugliest ships in the game.
But to be honest, like it's in every business. Like everyone want that color, that adjustment, that I've had a business back in the days and it was always challenging for that. And I was giving them like, okay, you can mix and match and everything, and no, they need to you to do it, and after that they're gonna decide if they want it or not. So yeah, it's all business. I can say that. It's every
Yep.
part business. I mean, yeah.
Yep. Yep. It's true. And so you just can't predict it. And then I guess maybe, from the store, from running it for the last year, probably the biggest thing I've learned is that, maybe I overvalued the cheapness of the printing, the shipping and the issue of that. I think that, one of the things I want to look into here in the next couple of months is maybe a solution that doesn't rely so much on achieving, affordable international shipping, not expensive international shipping, but maybe that wasn't as big of an issue for people who wanted the posters as I thought it was going to be, and that maybe they're willing to pay a little bit more for that if it means the store being up and running. So, and
Yeah,
that's really the issue that came across. Is we had I sort of had a Mendoza line, if you know what that is. It's like a threshold, and above which we were, of course, just the goal here was never to make money and to be, my multi-dollar empire is secure.
yeah, but be above zero is good, right?
But yeah, you don't want it to cost you money, right? So in that
No.
last year, so from July to December, we did great. And one of the reasons why we did so well last year too is that CCP bought calendars with my art in them for every employee. So that was kind of a nice thing for the holidays. And but then this year, from January till last week, we've been operating under that threshold, and so it's been 6 months, and that's really what made the decision. I can't keep operating the store if I'm losing money every month, and so even if I broke even, it would be fine with me. Like I said, this isn't a profit center for me. It's a service that I'm offering the community, and if people want the posters, then they can order them. But it's been kind of dropping off, and I think that I'm going to try to come up with a solution that's a more passive version of this, because this took a lot of effort to run, took time to run. I was managing 3 different partners. There's the website, and then there's the people who run the store, and then there's the people who have the 30 locations around the world in which they were printing things and then shipping them. And so between the 3 of them, and again, every time I say that, that's a fee or a subscription or something that has to be paid, and then that's a certain amount of money every month, and then CCP gets a royalty, and then the federal government and the local government and the state government get their taxes. So when you add all that up, that's where that threshold comes from, and that's break even point. And so we just weren't operating above that enough for it to make any sense to keep it open.
With the upcoming, well, not upcoming, but it's now like live, the billboard that can now be used by players. Have you had any talk with CCP to actually advertise your art on them?
Yeah, we did. We did. They did run a billboard for it back last year, and then they provided space for advertising during the AT last year, and then it's been in the launcher a couple of times, and it was also in the community beat a few times too. And so they've been very supportive as far as advertising goes. And that's probably the biggest hurdle for anybody who's trying to do this, is how to communicate to all the players, right? So I set up a subscription and a contact thing on the website, so you could sign up to be told things, and then I would send out emails to that, but I can only do that so often without becoming spam. And then so other than CCP helping, how am I as a store owner able to get my the news that I have it out to all the players or as many players as possible. It's very difficult. And, I'm a low sec pirate, so I'm a -10 player, so I don't get to JITA very often, but my alt goes up to JITA maybe once or twice a month. And I even did that where my alt would go into JITA and I would post in local and I would say, hey, you didn't know there's officially licensed Eve art available at rixxsjavix.com. And I got called out for doing that on Reddit. Like it was a negative. How could he get away with this? That's scamming and that's spam. And I mean, I did it once or twice, just as a test. And so,
Yeah, we were talking about toxic people earlier.
Yeah.
Eve being Eve, right? No matter what you do in this community, if you stick your head out above the water, there's going to be somebody there to smack it down for you, and you just have to get used to that. So whenever you do anything, don't be surprised if there's a whole bunch of people who don't like you for it. So that's just part of being part of this Eve community.
But what is beautiful in Eve, it's you're gonna have people who gonna not like you, but you're gonna also have people who gonna help you getting out of the water, and so you have the both sides.
Yep, it's definitely both sides, and definitely, I mean, I can't tell you how the site itself got nothing but compliments. We had 100% customer satisfaction. There were a couple of incidences where shipments. Well, we had one doozy. It was a big order in England, and I discovered how horrible the Royal Mail system is because it was very difficult to track down the package and find out what it had done. They left it. He was on vacation or away from home for 3 days. They left it on his front stoop for 2 days, and then they came and took it to a whole other city and put it in a warehouse. And when he got back, he's like, well, where's my, so that was a whole thing. And we ended up solving that problem for him and getting it fixed. But, that was part of it too, is that we had 100%, satisfaction. Everybody, we solved all the problems that we had, which weren't very many. And, every time somebody would order something, they'd send me an email and say how much they appreciated it when it arrived and how surprised they were at what the quality was and how they were, waiting to get it framed or get it up on their walls. And then they would send me photos of it up on their walls and share that with me. And then, they're like, oh, I can't wait to tell my alliance mates about this and spread the word for you and stuff. So, a lot of great support and people willing to help out. So that's the good side of the community, right?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Totally.
And there's much more of us than there are of the others too. So by the way.
Yes, indeed.
We just don't really take our place and don't talk louder.
Yeah, the good people don't yell as loud as the other ones.
Indeed. So coming back to this journey, if you were able to go back in time to help yourself on that project, when would you go and what would you tell young Rixx?
That's a very good question. Yeah. What would
Sci-fi.
I tell young? Well, I don't know that young. I don't know young is the right way to do it. When I started playing, I was probably, what was I in my mid 40s? 15 years ago. So, yeah, I'm a little bit of a weird player. I've been playing video games my whole life, and this is I didn't expect to turn into a full-time hobby video game player who was working in the video game industry, sort of, and this is not where I planned my career to go, but here I am. So, yeah, if I had to tell young Rixx something, it would be just to be patient and see things through, but that's pretty much what I did. So, yeah, maybe not try so hard at first, maybe come across a little. But here's the thing about it though, and this is a lesson too, is that back in the 2008s and 2009s, the social media infrastructure really wasn't there yet, and the distance between us and CCP was far greater. And they were a very mysterious sort of company that just kind of ran the game. We didn't really know them. We didn't have the 07 show or the OpenCom show, or we didn't have devs showing up on streams because there weren't any streams, and we didn't have Twitter. We didn't have
the Beaver Show was not there.
Right, the Beaver Show was not there, and that was a huge void for everyone. And and that was it was just a different time. And now, we're very fortunate that we can, there's Discord channels, there's partnership programs, and the partnership program. I mean, there's another one. I my I've been here so long that I was part of the very first partnership program, which wasn't even called that. I don't even remember what it was called. Excuse me. And so I think that would be the lesson is, just, chill out a little bit and wait. Things are going to work out.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So,
Just be yourself. Be yourself. Don't. Here's the other thing too, and I know when I started and started meeting people and talking to people in the game, so many young players who are coming in are trying to put on this persona, and they work really hard at it, and they build this character and they put on this persona, and it works great for 3 months or a couple of months, and then it starts to wear thin after a while. That's a lot of work, and I think my biggest advice, and that's true of myself too. I did that as well. I mean, I was trying to be something in the game, and I think that what you learn is, if you're going to do this a long time and you want to have any kind of lasting impact in the game, is that everything you do is still there. All that stuff that I did back in the day is still accessible, and it's still part of the history. It's somewhere on the internet. And second is that it's just not sustainable. Just be yourself. Your character, who you are, is enough. You don't need to build a persona and be somebody you're not. And that will come through over time. And people will like you for being who you are.
yes, indeed, I totally agree with that. Because yeah, it's tiring. Yeah, like if you're
It
not
is.
yourself.
Yeah, and then it gets you in trouble, and then you make mistakes, and then and this game is an unforgiving, history. It's an ongoing story,
Yep.
and your mistake is now part of the story, and nobody's ever going to forget it.
Indeed. Speaking of like the fact that you've been around for quite a time, you've got like a lot of deals with CCP. You signed a lot of NDAs all around. Are there specific NDAs that are now finished that you got like crunched information that you can now share?
That's funny. I never thought of that before. So like old NDAs. Well, I think I did actually tell you some of those, like the Office in London mural, the some of the team stuff in the day. I don't know that those were actually NDAs. Well, the whole thing about actually the whole thing about the whole year that I spent working on relaunching the Eve store, that was an old NDA. So that's something that I've never really publicly talked about before.
So now you got the chance, you got some credit for it. Congrats.
Yeah. I mean, even that social media post, in pitching CCP with the agency, that's really. I mean, I have kind of mentioned that sort of here and there, but that was under an NDA at the time, so that's kind of a dead issue. Obviously, nobody's going to get mad about me mentioning something that happened in 2009, because that's ancient history now. But here we are, 20-year anniversary, passed, and we got Fanfest coming up. And are you guys planning on being there at Fanfest?
Not this one. This
No.
one we cannot make it.
Right.
But we'll see for the other ones, because we really did like the one last year. We've been to the one in Toronto. We're the one doing the one in Montreal, and next week we'll be downtown Toronto for like a little meetup there.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I love the home invasion tour of Toronto was awesome, and yeah, we've had for the last 5 years, not counting COVID. We had a player meet here at my house called Steel City Eve. We've been having that. We took a year off this year just because we had kids graduating high school and starting college, and summer was going to be really weird, and we knew that, so we kind of skipped a year. And yeah, we're planning on being there at FanFest. I don't know if we haven't really talked about whether we're going to keep doing that or not, but we're definitely going this year for sure.
Yeah, for the 20th anniversary. And like I got like other question about like how you could guess what's gonna be announced, but the thing is, I'm guessing that you know, and it's under NDA, so I will not go there.
No, I do know a couple of things that I shouldn't talk about.
Yeah, that's perfect. But concerning the store that you just closed down, what's next?
Yeah, well, like I said, I have a couple projects that I'm working on that are going to be next. We're focused on the AT, on the Alliance tournament right now. I am not flying in the AT this year, but we have a team, and I'm definitely supporting the team. I decided to take a year off from the AT after the last, because it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of time, and I just don't have that this year to put into it. So, but our team is practicing right now, as a matter of fact, and so we're excited about that. Hopefully, they do well. And then just talk to well, somebody, and but I think that probably here, maybe in a couple of months, we might be talking about putting the store back up in a different form. So don't lose hope if you forgot to order something that you would like. That it may be returning in a slightly different form, probably by the end of summer.
Actually, I need to thank you to actually have helped the CCP to get like the store back up a few years back, because I think I've got nearly like 90% of what's there.
Right? Awesome.
Yeah, like it's actually like really great materials. Like the duffel bag is like just awesome. I don't know if it's still the same one as a few years ago, but the one that I got like is like really tough and yeah, like great.
Yeah, I know the company in California that does all the merch, and I've worked with them too, and produce some of the materials that are available on the Eve store. And I know that they always do really great job of sourcing all the materials and the things, and they're all very high quality. They do their best, to make sure that it's all high quality. I did that the Freaky Frigates set for them. What was that? 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
the fish sticker, right?
yeah, the
Yeah, the
stickers and
magnet.
the
Yeah,
journals and things. Yeah,
we
with the
might have
crazy,
them.
yeah, with the crazy daredevils and the Andromeals and stuff,
Yep.
with the teeth. Yeah, that was a lot of
Exactly.
fun.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
great.
thanks.
Okay, so this week something big happened. The new expansion. Do you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Expansions are always fun, right? But honestly, I mean, there's almost zero personal interest in this one specifically, because not really much changes for us. Those low
Well,
sec pirates and stuff. We don't really. There's not much. I mean, the large railgun. It'd be nice to fly a rock again. Would be
yeah.
cool.
But like you don't use like the corporation tracker to show like who's making like the most skill in that system on or against like those faction or whatever, just
Well,
to.
we haven't started that yet. We're actually I have myself and my directors are looking. We're still looking into it and figuring out how we can use it best to do that. And we're very excited about the potential of that system, and using it to help motivate pirates to engage certain targets or to achieve certain goals. But we don't want to jump. We didn't want to jump on it too fast. We wanted to make sure we were doing it right from the beginning. So we've got some plans in place for that, and we are excited about that one. And a few of the other smaller things, and I'm not as excited about all the smoke that's coming out of all my spaceships now. I do like the lighting changes, but all of a
Yeah.
sudden, we were in nullsec on Thursday running an anti-Entosis fleet. We were killing Entosis ships, and we were all in interceptors, and everybody's like complaining about all the smoke that's coming out of their
Yeah.
suddenly coming out of your Tyrannus is all this smoke every time you land, and it's like, well, where did that come from?
Yeah, and also like yesterday was piloting of one of those capital ships, and I don't know, like if it's like a graphical glitch or whatever, but it was like some lights into it, like on it that was like just bursting right at me, just like if someone was pointing like a laser. So
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
trigger.
There's some weird stuff. If you look at the front of the Tyrannus, the light that's on the front doesn't quite attach to the ship. It's kind of a little bit off, and there's some red Cylon like lights going on when you're warping that are kind of weird. But yeah, I think some of them need a little bit of attention. I haven't gone through every 478 ships to see what's what, but yeah, expansions are great, and we're excited about them. And I think the skinning of the structures, that's a very cool thing. If I had any structures left, I would be more than happy to create custom.
Sorry.
And yeah, somebody came through and blew all those up. So
Yeah, we
don't have
know.
any. You're aware of that.
Yeah. But still, yeah, that like this, let's say, structure thing is still, let's say, still needs some work because lots of groups still cannot use it, and groups.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. It's nice to see the game continue to be supported, and for CCP to keep doing this and try to make the game better. And they're going to need to. I mean, it's getting long in the tooth here. We're 20 years in, and the other companies. I mean, I've been watching these Starfield playthroughs and the trailers and things, and that looks amazingly awesome. And, I'm going to be working on a space MMO, and there's other people out there doing them too. So the competition is just going to keep getting better, and CCP has to do the best they can to keep up with it.
Nice.
Whatever, you are always welcome on the show to talk about
thanks.
your new
I appreciate it. You guys are awesome to talk to, and I really appreciate you. And this was a great conversation, and thanks for having given me the platform to say it out loud. Sometimes it helps to say it instead of having to write 1,500 word essay on the blog. So
yeah, sometimes people are like rather have a having a video is easier for a lot of people to actually just click play and subscribe and hit the bell icon to actually be sure to have all this great information.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe. Beavers need your help.
Yes, indeed, because you see, like just behind me, that's a live footage of some place north of USA.
Right.
Sorry.
Cool. All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you too. Any last word before we go?
No, just fly safe and be careful of pirates. They're everywhere.
Yeah, right. Have a great time, Beavers. Them, any last words?
Well, see you soon, viewers.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Au revoir.